If you saw my other video about choosing a listing agent, this is the one for buyers. So if you're thinking of buying a home, you want to know how to pick an agent, what should you look for, what questions you should ask, you are in the right place. So here are 10 questions that you should ask if you're interviewing someone to help you buy a home. And these may be different than they were a couple of years ago because the landscape in real estate has changed a bit. Number one, I think that just asking some general questions about what they've done, how they generally work with buyers is a good starting point. I've actually had clients that have come to me and said, is there a maximum number of houses you'll show us? Our last agent said we should only look at about 4. What? So some of those questions like that may just be things that are rolling around in your head because you've never bought or you haven't bought in a while. Ask your potential agent those questions to just get a better feel for how they work. Number 2, ask them, how many houses do they generally think you should look at a given time or, over a period of time? They should know some of those numbers, but ultimately, I'm going to tell you here that unless you are in from out of town and you're here for a short period of time and can only look at, houses this Saturday and that's it, then you have to buy one, you probably are not going to want to look at more than 4 or 5 houses in a given day because they all blur together. It's not really helpful beyond that point, in my opinion, at least. And I think most of my clients would agree. But ask them, what their limitations are on that. Do they have any hard and fast rules? A lot of people don't. I certainly don't, but some people do. So you want to know that before you sign up to start working with them. Number 3, one of the questions that you want to ask them is, what do they know about the area that you're looking? This is always something that I think is pretty important. But if you think about the way listing agents work compared to buyer's agents, the buyer's agent's really going to look at the whole package for you. If you just wander into an open house and you talk to the listing agent, they may not necessarily tell you that they're getting ready to build a Walmart 20 feet from the property line in the backyard because they don't have to. The buyer's agent is going to be able to get that information for you. So if you walk into a house and you love it, you love the neighborhood, and you wonder why they're selling, we don't always know why that specific family or individual is selling, but we can usually find out if they're clearing the land across the street. Is it going to be a subdivision? Is it going to be a Walmart? Is it going to be a county landfill? And that's one of the things that you want in your buyer's agent. Make sure that they have a good handle on where you are so that they can get that information. Doesn't mean they're going to have it right off the top of their head, but can they get that information? Can they find those things out for you? Because that stuff is important. Number 4, what is their communication style? When you're looking for a home, sometimes people will go look at one house and that's it, and they're done. There are other times when we as buyer's agents might work with someone for 6 months or a year because they have a real specific thing that they want and their situation is such that they're not in a rush. In other words, we're communicating a lot. And trust me, once you're under contract on something, you're communicating even more. So make sure that if you are somebody who always wants to talk on the phone, that your agent is comfortable with that, because they may be somebody who always wants to text you and never pick up the phone. Doesn't mean that one is better than the other. You just want to kind of be on the same page. Or just let them know, hey, I'm a talker, so please don't text me every time you have news to impart. But if they say, that's not what I'm going to do, that may not be the right agent for you, because you're always going to feel like you don't have enough info. Number 5, how are they at negotiating? What is their experience? How many houses have they sold? Can they give you an example of a time that they were able to negotiate a little harder on behalf of their buyer client to get them a better deal with inspections or anything like that? Negotiation is a huge part of what we do as buyer's agents. So you want to make sure that if that person is your representative in that transaction, you want to make sure that they're bargaining for you and getting you the best deal possible. Number 6, Do they have an area that they won't go? If you're looking to buy a home just outside of town and maybe outside the area where you think they might work, ask them, if I buy a house 50 miles away, can you still represent me? They may not. In large part, I won't. I'm in the Richmond metro area. If somebody wants to find a home in Williamsburg, could I represent them legally? Yes. Is it going to be the best use of my time or give them the best advantage? Probably not, because I don't have access to the MLS that covers that area. But more importantly, I'm not familiar with that market because I don't generally work in it. So if I know the prices that things are selling for and, maybe something interesting, unusual about the neighborhood that you're looking, that may or may not be the best fit for you. So make sure that the agent that you want to work with is comfortable in the area you want to buy. Number 7, in this ever-changing landscape of the way real estate works, make sure that when you're talking to someone, they know the forms, the laws, the rules, the regulations down cold to make sure they are covering your bleep and their own, and to make sure that that deal actually gets to closing. And that means if you're writing a contract with a right of first refusal, which means you have a house to sell first, there are a lot of time limits that go with that. And if your agent is sort of like freewheel and not really paying attention to deadlines, you could really get in bad trouble and lose the house that you want, or lose an opportunity to ask for inspections, all sorts of things like that, if that agent is not very familiar with the laws, the rules, the regulations, the contracts and forms, and the time frames that go with them. Number 8, this one is going to throw back to something my very first broker ever said when I was a brand new real estate agent. And that is, don't choose the stockbroker based on the price of the stock. And while I often use that with pricing, when you're going to list a house, don't pick the agent based on the price that they tell you could sell for. But that also holds true on the buy side with commission in a lot of ways. So if you are talking to other buyers agents, make sure that, of course, you want to know what commission they charge and what commission you could be likely to pay, because as things change, that is really falling more on the buyers. In many cases, the seller will contribute some or all of that buyer's agent commission, but gone are the days where the seller is going to automatically pay all of it. So never assume that that's how it's going to be, but make sure that just because somebody is going to charge you a little bit less, you don't immediately choose them based on the price. You want to make sure the price and the service tie in together. And if you're much more comfortable with somebody is going to negotiate well for you from start to finish, you may want to pay a little bit more than that other agent, because you're probably just going to get better service, better negotiation, and a better outcome at the end of the day. Number 9, are you full-time? This doesn't seem like it would be as big of a question as it sometimes is, but that is a great question to ask your agent, whether they are working for you on the buy side or the listing side, because there are a lot of people who think real estate is a good side hustle, and it is until it's not, I guess. First off, you want to make sure that somebody really knows what they're doing, which I think is not always possible in a part-time gig. But what if the house that you want comes up at noon on a Tuesday and they're receiving offers on Wednesday at 5, something like that? If your agent can't get you to the house, can't answer the question, can't show up to do the inspection, all of those things that go into buying a house, that may not be the agent for you. You really do need somebody that is going to be accessible to you when you are able to look at houses, talk about houses, write contracts, do home inspections, all of those things. So ask what their availability is, and are they full-time or is this their part-time gig? Sort of tying in with that last one is number 10, which is, do you have a team? Are you a solo agent? What if you're on vacation? Is there someone else that's going to be able to show me houses, write a contract, What if you have another inspection at the only time that my inspection works for me? How is that going to work? So, doesn't mean that one is necessarily better than the other. It just means that you want to make sure you have all the information and that that agent is going to be available to work for you when you have the time to work with them. Those are sort of my top 10 questions to ask your potential buyer's agent. If you're looking to buy a home in the Richmond metro area, I would love to talk to you. I'm Cindy Bennett. I have been with Maison Real Estate Boutique for 5 years, but I've been in the real estate industry for 21 years. And I've worked with loads and loads of buyers, would love to help you find that perfect home. If you're looking in another area, reach out to me. I can put you in touch with a great buyer's agent there.